and welcome to the Bullcast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and with me is Court Winsett.
I am with you, Katie.
Oh, thanks. And Cameron Spann.
Hello.
We're going to talk about CDs.
Ah, yes.
I used to play CDs in my Crown Victoria.
Well, I mean,
Compact disc, right?
Yeah. The other day, I was reading a news article or watching a news story about how Spotify and other streaming services.
Oh my God, are we back to that again?
Well,
I thought we left that in the last episode.
My point is that Spotify and the other streaming services don't really pay the artists a whole lot of money for the streams that they generate. And so, if you really want to support the artists, you go out and buy a CD or go out and buy their record, and they get more royalties off of those sales than
do new cars have CD players?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't had a new car in like 10 years.
My Tundra's 2019 and it has one. I bet they're phased out, right? Computers no longer have CD drives.
Yeah.
You have to buy those externally.
Yeah.
I drove around with a big old thick binder with all my CDs like organized, and
Oh yeah.
I have mine still.
I had 3 binders worth of CDs and lost one of them in our move from our old house to our current house. I never was able to find that third binder, and it was I had them all alphabetized, so it was my A binder that I lost. So I lost everything from AC/DC up through like Led Zeppelin or something like that, and I was like, oh, that was a gut punch. It was ridiculous.
I miss CDs. And the reason is because with the convenience of MP3s and Apple Music and Pandora, I get ADD with music. I won't even finish a song before I jump to the next one. But in the CDs days, you just rolled through it.
Yeah, you just listen to the album.
I miss that.
Sometimes over and over and over again. If I had a CD in my CD player in my car, I was too lazy to take it out. So I would listen to the same album for like weeks.
Yeah. I have to throw this little thing. I had a CD that I had burned, and there was certain songs on there, and there was a mess up in it, and it would be like, ee, and I would sing.
Yeah.
I would sing the song with that, and then I'd hear it like outside of my car, and I'm like, "There's not the beep in it. What happened?"
Or you had the albums with the scratches, and you knew exactly when the scratch was going to happen.
The scratch. But it's also like with the CDs, you'd learn the lyrics and stuff. I know we talked about last episode that a lot of people aren't learning lyrics anymore and to learn about the financial benefits. Anyways, we're going on a tangent again about music. Clearly, we are music lovers.
2 in a row.
Let's talk about CDs, certificates of deposit.
Okay.
Not compact disc.
Right. Certificate of deposit. That makes more sense in terms of,
Money.
being a financial podcast and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
okay, we'll rapid fire this one. This is the top 10 best-selling albums of all time by total units.
Okay, top 10, number A. Why did we start?
Number 8.
Number 10, The Bodyguard by Whitney Houston, 55.5 million units total.
The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, 58.4 million.
Have y'all done Dark Side of the Rainbow? Where you watch Wizard of Oz with Dark Side of the Moon playing, and it matches up. We did that in college. It's weird.
Oh, weird.
But I've never done it.
Number 8, Led Zeppelin 4 by Led Zeppelin, 59 million units.
Number 7, Nevermind by Nirvana, 59.4 million units.
Back in Black, AC/DC, 62.3 million.
Bad by Michael Jackson, 65.9 million units.
It's funny. I never really think of Bad being like a huge top seller like his other album was.
Number 4, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, 66 million.
Number 3, Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees, 70.6 million. Just, consider my mind blown. I can't, that's...
Number 2, Hotel California by the Eagles, 72.8 million.
And number 1, Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Not even close.
121.8 million. Whew.
Man.
Wow.
Between the 2 albums on this list, he almost has 200 million units
That's
sold.
insane.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Okay, so what is a CD?
A certificate of deposit. It's a type of savings account. Basically, it pays a fixed interest rate. But the thing is, you give them your money for an agreed period of time. So you're locking your money down for however many months the CD is. So
you're losing control of it. You're saying, here, take my money.
Yep.
I'll get it back from you. So it's like locking it up in a vault. Hey, I'll come back and get it in 6 months, a year.
Except they're paying you interest while...
Oh, they pay you. Yeah. Okay.
So if you think about it, it makes sense. We haven't really talked a lot about CDs in the past, say, decade or two because interest rates...
It wasn't a good option.
Yeah, the interest rates have been, especially for the last decade, have been really low. But recently we've had increase in interest rates because the Fed's been trying to fight inflation.
Yeah.
So interest rates are going up. And when interest rates go up, the banks start paying more on their CDs. So
Okay, so I'm going to de-jargonize a little bit of what you just said.
okay, yeah.
So
Do we want to do a violation?
violation, I'm going to violate all over you. Anyways,
I feel violated.
so the reason why before you were not wanting to do a CD is because, as you said, interest rates. But what that should mean to you is it wasn't worth your while. If you gave them your money, you were not getting a big enough kickback. You were not making enough money off of that time period that the bank or credit union was holding your money. Yeah. Now, times have changed, and it could be a best interest option for you to then give the bank this money, and then you're getting a nice paycheck, essentially, from them holding onto your money for this period of time. That's real dumbed down what you just said.
Well, in terms of risk versus reward, I mean, a CD is going to be very low risk, but the reward is whatever percentage rate the CD is paying. And so it's great if it's low risk and that's what you're looking for, but are you getting the return that you need for basically handing somebody else your money to use as they see fit for 3 months, 6 months, a year, something like that?
Yeah. With everything you look at, there's always advantages and disadvantages to leaving money sitting in cash, to investing it, to CDs. I did want to do a throw it back, a little history lesson for you. So banks in the U.S. were issuing CDs by the early 1800s, although the concept actually dates back to at least the 1600s in Europe. Now, what's really cool is they used to give you these really ornate, very fancy-looking documents that were your receipt, but also your promissory note of reassuring the depositors that, hey, your money's in really good hands. Thank you for giving us $10,000. Now, here's a little pretty piece of paper that's going to be what you turn back in when it matures, which that means there's a set period of time that in 6 months it matures. Then at the end of that 6 months, you come in and then you're going to get that money back plus what it's earned through that time period.
Right.
So understanding a CD. So if you're going to, they hold them at banks, they hold them at credit unions, investments. We're at an investment firm. We can buy CDs, all different kinds of things like that out there. But CDs are similar to opening a standard bank account. So it's not a big complicated thing.
No, it's pretty simple, yeah.
It's, very, very simple. You shop around and identify what's the best CD for you. And, you're figuring out a couple of big questions. Number one, looking at the interest rate. So what are they going to pay you to do this?
Right.
What is the term? How long
are they going to keep your money?
How long are they going to keep your money? How long do you want your money tied up? That's the thing to think about. Principal, how much are you putting in?
Right.
And the institution, who are you going with? Because obviously you want to make sure that you're putting your money with somebody that is going to give you those terms laid out. It's a reputable institution, all of that.
And chances are you're going to go with the institution, unless you just feel really strongly about a particular bank or something, you're going to go with the institution that's offering the best rates for whatever the term is that you want and the amount that you want to deposit. Whoever is offering you the best rate, clearly why wouldn't you go with them? Unless, like I said, you just hate Bank of Memphis, so I don't want to throw out a real bank. So
Bank of Memphis.
Yeah, Bank of Memphis. And you're like, no, those terrible people, I'll never bank there. But they're offering like a 7% CD. You're like, no, don't care. I hate them. I'm going to First Horizon. You do you, babe.
Well, and not to get too devil in the details, but there are ways for you to verify and check and see what score these different institutions have and really know, are you going with the right company? Is it too good to be true that they're offering you this much, tying it up? So advantages, we've already kind of talked about a couple of these. Safety and security.
It's a it's a low risk investment. I mean, your risk when you have a CD, your risk is that the bank is going to go belly up, basically.
Yeah, and that's why you want to look at the institution itself and kind of your forecasting, are they going to be a company that's going to go belly up?
Yeah, but remember, banks are insured. If you're depositing less than $250,000 with one institution, then they're insured for that money that you have on deposit. So even if the bank does go belly up, you should be able to get your money back. I guess we never really want to say no risk, but it is a very low risk option.
So it's a good thing if you've got this pool of money, you don't really know what to do with it, you could set it aside and it's, pretty protected. You're getting predictable returns because obviously you're setting on the front end, hey, I'm going to get a 4% return, 5% return for 6 months, for a year. And so that I gave them this much money. I'm going to be getting my principal plus your original amount. You're going to be getting your original amount back, your principal, plus a little bit of extra from the interest I earned from it. So what the banks are enjoying this, because if you remember back to our It's a Wonderful Life philosophy about banks and money coming in, money coming out, the banks are then getting access to this cash and that they're able to hold on to for 6 months, a year, 5 years, 3 years, whatever term you set. Higher interest rates compared to regular savings accounts. Now that's, again, it's depending on the economy, what's going on, if a savings account versus a CD versus an investment account. And that's why it's important to have a financial plan that fits you individually and have a balanced approach of your money.
Well, so you're going to be liquid if you're in the savings account, but they're going to pay less interest. Then your money is locked up if you're in a CD, but it's still relatively low risk, right? And you're going to receive more interest. Probably the best return on your investment would be if you put it into securities with an investment advisor, but then you're going to be exposed to more risk. So everything has its risks and rewards.
Yeah. I mean, that flows right into the disadvantages of when someone talks to me about a CD, then I really ask the question, are you okay with your money being tied up? Because your money is locked up for a certain period of time because you can't get access to it if you've set up a term of 6 months or a year. And it's not like, oh, let me just borrow a little bit from that. Most banks are not willing to do that. And so if you've got this money that is truly out of sight, out of mind, you do not need it, it's not a bad thing because you're going to have that safety and the consistency and not a lot of market volatility with that. But you've got to ask yourself the question, do you need this to be liquid? Could you get a better return with some other vehicle? What are your risk levels and comforts? Because some people are like, I want to be able to see this is what my money's doing. This is where it's going to be. There it is. And with it, there's the disadvantage that a lot of people don't understand. If you have a CD, then a lot of times they'll auto-renew. So if you have in your mind, oh, I went and talked to a financial advisor, they recommended that I should go ahead and get out of this CD and move it into something else, then if they don't remember, then they may start auto-renewing it. If you don't say, hey, hold on, like, I don't want to re-renew this. I don't want to lock it up again for another 6 months.
Katie, use me as an example. I'm a real life example.
You're real. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was in a car accident a long time ago. I finally got the settlement money, took it to the bank to put it in savings because I'm a little child and I don't know what to do with that, even though I work for a financial firm. And they're like, put it in a CD, good rate, blah, blah, blah. I knew it was going to be locked up, but we didn't need it at the moment. This month it reaches its maturity date, which means I need to take it out. So Katie, pick up the story from there. Where do we go from here?
So Cam did a smart move by, hey, I've got this money. I'm not sure what to do with it. Well, he should have called me, but it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Yeah. So he was safe and said, let's just put it in the CD. And so now that I've talked to him, now that I've talked to him and his wife about their plans, what they're wanting this money to do for them, then I'm able to say, look, what you've got is it was a great safety net to not have this money just sitting in your bank account earning nothing. You're earning something, but there's some other options out there. I know with your other planning goals, why don't, when it's time to renew, you don't renew and we try and move it to another investment option. And that way, then it's liquid and available and it's not tied up.
And I said, huzzah.
And then threw a shot glass in the fire?
Yes, that's exactly what I did.
Excellent.
At Regions, yeah.
Fantastic. Another thing about CDs, let's paint a picture for them so that this will really hit home for them and not just say there's inflation risk, but say, imagine you had, say, around the beginning of 2021, right? Imagine you had a couple of $1,000. Say maybe the government gave you a couple of $1,000 because, you know, they were trying to stimulate the economy. They wanted people to spend.
I was going to say, like, why is the government just giving you money?
So say the government gave you a couple of grand and you're like, no, I'm not going to spend it. I'm not going to stimulate the economy. I'm just going to put it in a CD and I'm going to earn some interest on this. So you put it in a CD at the beginning of 2021. And then by the end of 2021, the world has been rocked by inflation, not just the United States, but everybody is just suffering from inflation. And so when you pull that $2,000 out, you do not have the buying power with that $2,000 in December that you had back in January.
Yeah.
You know, that is inflation risk kind of in a nutshell. You know, I don't think it's the biggest drawback of a CD, frankly, because...
No, it's a component of it. Yeah. And with everything, there's advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, it's one of those that If you were to re-renew, then you've got to each time look at what interest rate are they going to give you, what are the terms. And it's also having that balance because life happens. And so if you think, oh, I'm not going to need this money for 6 months or a year, and then all of a sudden you lose your job or something chaotic happens and you don't have a lot of other liquid assets, then that money's now tied up and you're kind of stuck. So CDs are definitely something that can be a part of your plan, but you need to have a conversation. You need to find the right institution, make sure you're doing the right moves for you. One of the other things is, people will sometimes do it for saving for down payments, education funds, short-term financial goals. And again, it all depends on your particular situation, where you are. And so if you just see some TikTok that says you should get a CD, do yourself a favor and take 2 seconds to talk to a financial professional, have them look at your, not just that individual money, but look at your entire financial picture and then say, yes, it's a good idea, or no, I wouldn't do it. Because there's a lot of people that master these things, and it's a jargon term called CD laddering. And really it's a fancy way of saying that
just picture a ladder, right? Yeah. Okay. Picture a ladder. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
I was just going to...
Rungs. We've got rungs.
Yeah. I said, yeah, picture a ladder. And then I'm like, yeah, but that's not how I would really describe it. If you consider a timeline where basically if you are laddering, the term of your CDs are staggered so that when one CD is maturing, you've still got money in another CD, then that CD matures later on, and then maybe you're reinvesting the first CD in something else, and so you just continue the process and draw the interest on an ongoing basis. But the problem is, as you do that, anytime you're reinvesting that money, what if the yields on those CDs have dropped? What if they've gone back down? So you may use this as a strategy for extending your investment and the return on it. But if interest rates start dropping, then suddenly your laddering approach isn't necessarily working as well.
It is a tool that you can use to help with investing, and it's just strategizing the money and having, different maturities, things like that. But overall, there's a lot of different elements that can go into CDs. It's just a small portion of your overall financial portfolio, and it may be right for you. It may not be. And that's where this episode is kind of to be educational on what is a CD, why all of a sudden are we hearing a lot about it and we weren't before. And you're going to have that over your lifetime where sometimes CDs are popular, sometimes they're not. Same with bonds, same with stocks, annuities. All of these are different tools. And the biggest thing, if you get nothing from our podcast, is there's a bunch of tools and not all the tools are right for everybody. And so it's important to have a financial plan and determine what's right for you. And it may be CDs, it may not be. But now you'll know when you see those CDs and it's not the compact disc, it's actually a certificate of deposit. And no, I'm sorry, they don't give you the pretty paper anymore. They instead will email you something. I think they may print something, but it's nowhere near as pretty as some of those old CDs certificates they've got.
I didn't get a pretty paper.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Sorry.
Or maybe you just, they didn't like you.
That's very true.
I'll give you a pretty paper that says of your next investments.
Just a piece of paper with Sharpie on it.
Sharpie that says, this is what you're going to be in. But yeah, I mean, is a CD worth it? Thinking about what your money needs to do, thinking about the safety of it, thinking about your risk level, because that's ultimately whether you're picking stocks, bonds, CDs, cash, is what is your time horizon? What is your risk level? And what do you need this money to do for you? Bullseye.
Mm-hmm. Cameron, you got a bullseye?
Go to the scrapyard and pick you up an old car with a CD player in it and put in Goo Goo Doll CD or something and just enjoy the glory of CDs.
Well, I don't know if I've ever been really
That's
loved.
Matchbox 20, but also put that CD in.
Okay, then what about, well, I don't want the world.
That would be Goo Goo Dolls.
Okay, there you go. Can't really sing that high, but hey.
And I don't want the world.
Oh, damn, Cameron.
I didn't know I could do that. Hey.
Hey-o.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, saved by the closing bell. You have escaped yet another concert by Court and Cam. You have made it to the end of yet another episode of the Bullcast Podcast. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and sign up to have our podcast beamed directly to your favorite listening device every single Thursday at noon. If you'd like to find out more about Court, Cameron, Katie, or Nicole, please feel free to go to our website. We've got our bios up there. We've also got this little place where you can stop by and leave us a comment or suggest a topic you'd like to hear us talk about. And if you like pictures, we've got a couple of pictures on the site too. But if you really like pictures, we've got an Instagram handle, and that handle is at Bullcast Podcast. We've also got an X handle. That handle is also at Bullcast Podcast. We have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Bullcast the Podcast. And finally, you have heard us say many times that we work at a place called Pickler Wealth Advisors. And if you'd like to find out more about what we do, what we could potentially do for you, find out about our amazing team, and find out about our boss, David Pickler, please feel free to go to that website, which is picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've given you everything you need to know to go forth and buy CDs. Either compact discs or certificates of deposit.
Whichever one you like.
Yes. So for now, I'm Court.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cam.
And we're done.